On Larry King Now, Hollywood legend Willem Dafoe.
The truth is, the script can change. And the role, if I know what it is already before I do it, that's not so interesting. I like a role that's kind of a mystery to me and calls me, and I have to do something to find out what it is.
Why'd you get cast as villains so much?
When I was young, I think the best roles tended to be villains, if you're not conventionally good-looking or conventionally charming. And so those were the juicy roles. So I think that's really where I made my reputation. The take that they used, actually, some of the detonations didn't go off. And if you look closely in the movie, you can see me throw the thing in my hand where I'm detonating my body hits. I probably shouldn't spoil it.
Plus,
I don't think we're going in the right direction. And we're a powerful country, and we have a responsibility to the rest of the world.
Now, you travel a lot. What do you hear?
In the rest of the world, they think we're crazy.
It's all next on Larry King Now. Welcome to Larry King Now. Our special guest is Willem Dafoe, the iconic actor nominated for 2 Academy Awards and a Golden Globe throughout his decades-long career. His extensive resume includes films like Platoon, The English Patient, American Psycho, Shadow of the Vampire, Boondock Saints, and the Spider-Man trilogy, just to name a few. Willem is currently lending his talents to 2 Netflix films, Death Note and What Happened to Monday, co-starring Glenn Close. His highly anticipated new film is The Florida Project. It's getting a lot of Oscar buzz. It's due out October 6th. If that wasn't enough, Willem will star in the remake of Murder on the Orient-Express, coming this November. Are you ever out of work?
I like to work. I like to work.
All right, the obvious first, and then we'll move on. Why isn't it William?
You know, my father was William. I came from a big family. Billy didn't really suit me. I think from a very young age, I sought a nickname, and someone gave me just Willem as a sloppy way of saying William, and it stuck. And then by the time I was a performer, it felt kind of unnatural to change it back. I didn't like the idea of a stage name, so the joke is, the irony is that the nickname became my real name.
What's on the birth certificate?
William. Yeah, it's my
Where'd you grow up?
Wisconsin.
All right, tell me about the Florida Project and why it's so special.
Florida Project is a film directed by Shawn Baker, who made this film Tangerine that got a lot of play. This film takes place in an extended stay economic motel in the shadow of Disneyland, and it really follows through the eyes of the children the lives of these people that live there. And I play the manager of the motel, and it's a fantastic role for me.
Why?
Because it's very complex. He's not an extraordinary person. It's not an extreme role. I don't have big scenes of transformation or big emotional scenes, but the way I have to deal with people is I have to wear lots of hats, and he's not really up to the job, and he's got to be hard with these people because he's in a position of authority, but at the same time, he lives at the place and he gets to know these people. It's like an extended family. So there's a push and pull.
An original script?
It is.
And I understand there's a young woman in it, Brooklyn Prince?
Yes, she's 6 years old, I think. Yeah, she's a little spitfire. She's really great.
Now, AV Club, which reviews films, said this is one of Dafoe's funniest and most moving performances.
Nice.
All right. What about him? What did you see in him?
He was a working-class guy that was making the best of kind of a not-so-extraordinary life. And he was...
Or he was ordinary?
Sort of, yeah.
It's
he
hard
was
to
ordinary.
Play ordinary?
No, because the world was complete. And in some respects, I'm very ordinary. But when I say ordinary, I mean from a dramatic standpoint. You know, it wasn't a big, juicy, showy role. But entering the world and being part of that world was interesting because it required a lot of navigating.
Variety compared it to last year's Best Picture winner, Moonlight. Was that fair, do you think?
Well, I like Moonlight. I like this movie. What can I say, Larry?
What do you think of Oscar? But do you like? I mean, it's obviously great to hear.
It's good things. I mean, this is a smaller movie, and the fact that people responded to it so much in Cannes and are starting to respond to screenings now is great news. It's great news for the movie. You always like to be associated with a movie that people are excited about.
W.C. Fields said, "Never work with a child."
Yeah.
Is this Brooklyn Prince a scene stealer? As she?
Of course, all children are scene stealers because they're kids first, and actors second. So the good news is you get a freshness and kind of anarchy and a kind of freedom and creativity and looseness. The bad news is sometimes they can't repeat things, but that's okay.
How old is she again?
She's like 6. And there were other children involved as well, because the film is very much from their point of view.
Oh, was it hard to do for you?
It was, but I also enjoyed it. As I said, you know, I had to wear lots of hats. So some parts I liked, some parts were a little more difficult. You know, the director was very good with the children and really gave them, let them go where they needed to go. And sometimes that took some patience on my part, but it was okay because that sort of informed what I had to do as the character. So that kind of, it was an exercise in patience.
When we return, we'll revisit some of Willem's most iconic roles and talk about what's next, including Aquaman. Don't click away. We're back with Willem Dafoe. By the way, the Florida Project will be out October 6th. Shot in Orlando?
Yes.
Okay, you've had over 120 acting credits. Do you remember all the movies you've done?
Of course. It's the way I remember my life.
You cherish some more than others?
I do, but, you know, I don't look back so much.
Anthony Quinn told me once that no matter what the role, he gave it his all. You know, whether he was playing some Indian chief in a cowboy or Zorba the Greek, everything mattered at that minute.
I think that's a good approach. That's the approach I try to have, because you never know. You never know where things will lead. You know, sometimes you'll read something that is a little flat on paper, but there's other reasons that you want to do it, and then you commit to it, and it comes alive, just out of your openness to be there, to receive it.
Why do you cast as villains so much, do you think?
You know, when it comes down to it, I think I play as many good guys as villains, but when I was young, I think the best roles tended to be villains, if you're not conventionally good-looking or conventionally charming, and so those were the juicy roles. So I think that's really where I made my reputation. And then, for example, studio movies, industry movies, they want you to repeat that success. But my experience is I've done all kinds of roles, but the other roles tend to be more in the independent realm.
Have you always worked?
I have, and also one thing I don't think people know, and it's not bragging, but I think if people are curious, I've been a theater actor for many years. I had my own company in New York for almost 30 years, and I still continue to work in the theater.
Do Broadway?
Not Broadway. This is very particular kind of theater. I mean, it's really
repertory?
Avant-garde. This company I had was a true company in the sense that the same people were there every day working, making new work. And our bread and butter was basically international touring. We had a small theater in New York. Yeah.
And then you could do that and make movies?
Well, initially it was very difficult. But now that I finished with that, I do theater slightly more sporadically, because when I was in the company, I was there every day.
What's the first thing you look for when you say, I'll do this?
You know, something that calls you, something that, a promise for adventure, a promise to learn something. Also, people are very important. You know, you're going to spend time with people. They have to be people that inspire you and that you share a kind of passion with. So I go by the people, I go by the proposal of what we're trying to do, and really secondarily the role and the script, because the truth is the script can change, and the role, if I know what it is already before I do it, That's not so interesting. I like a role that's kind of a mystery to me and calls me, and I have to do something to find out what it is.
I loved a movie you did, Body of Evidence.
Okay,
with
yeah.
Madonna.
Yeah.
Was that fun?
It was fun. It got kind of a mixed reception. I always remember that. Good for you, Larry.
No, I liked it. I thought it was a hell of a thriller.
Beautiful. Yeah, I thought it was kind of misidentified. That was kind of at the height of her. She had a sex book out, and everything was sex.
Did you like working with her?
I did. She was cool.
What role broke out for you?
Oh, that's hard to say. You know, just getting working is the breakout for you. But I think, you know, the first role I did, first star role, was Catherine Bigelow's first film called The Loveless, a little independent movie. I think certainly To Live and Die in L.A. was very important.
Oh, yeah.
Platoon was very important to kind of shake this idea that I could only do villains. Last Temptation of Christ was important, to, you know, to kind of give people that I could carry a movie. Yeah. You know, one thing leads to the next. It's hard to know what really sets you up.
You're part of the Aquaman.
Right.
When that's coming next year?
Yeah. In fact, I'm shooting. I leave for Australia to continue my work there.
Who do you play in Aquaman?
I play the mentor, the teacher of Aquaman, when he's a boy.
Is that fun, those kind of roles?
Well, fun. It's what I'm doing. Let's go back to Anthony Quinn. No, it is. It is. And I get to do some fighting, and because it's underwater, and we speak underwater, we do a lot of it dry for wet. So we're on wires, and we have harnesses. And I enjoy doing that physical stuff. It really roots it.
Why Australia?
There's probably economic reasons. Warner Brothers has a studio there. It's a lot of green screen work, and so it must be economic.
Why are they remaking, or they remade Murder on the Orient-Express?
Right, which doesn't sound like a necessary thing to do, but it was
that's a great story.
It's a great story, and it's a very good script, and Kenneth Branagh, who directs and stars in it.
He plays Perot?
Yeah, and he's fantastic. And he was I loved him. He was really, the way he dealt with this cast was incredible, because it's a very heavy, it's really a star-studded cast, which
Peter Ustinov did it in the first movie.
Right. Oh, they've always approached it with a star-studded cast.
McHale was in it.
Yep.
So who's in this? So you're in it, Johnny Depp?
Johnny Depp, Michelle Pfeiffer, I'm going to forget people, and new people like Josh Gad, Daisy Ridley. I'm forgetting people,
all
sure. Penelope Cruz.
Murderers.
Yeah. And the cool thing is that, you know, most of the time you're part of the environment. So, and then you step forward for your big, you know, confrontation scene. But it's an ensemble piece. And to see all these people working well in an ensemble, it was quite fantastic. I think he got a lot of theater actors because he knows they're used to that. But it was a really fun experience.
Where'd they shoot it?
In London. Most of it.
Next, I'll put Willem Dafoe through my rapid-fire question round of If You Only Knew, prepared by our producers. Stay with us.
I'm scared.
We're back with Willem Dafoe, one of the great talents. His new film, The Florida Project, among 73 others, will be out October 6th. Ever want to direct?
No.
Really?
I'm a doer, not a watcher.
We play a little game of If You Only Knew. Who was your childhood celebrity crush?
Raquel Welch.
Not bad.
Not bad.
Secret talent.
It wouldn't be a secret if I told you, Larry.
Okay, cute. Best advice you ever got?
Maybe slow is smooth, smooth is fast.
Biggest risk you ever took?
I'd say changing my life and falling in love with this Italian woman that I'm married to now.
How long are you married?
14 years.
You live in Rome and New York,
yeah.
Right? Which do you like better?
I like them both. You know, New York's my home. Rome is my new home. So there, I'm an immigrant, so I'm challenged in different ways.
Is Rome special?
It is. It's an open museum. The people are fantastic.
Hot as hell in the summer.
But so is New York.
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah. Guilty pleasure.
You know, I basically eat clean, and I'm basically a vegan, but occasionally I have to have some fried fish.
Fried fish.
Oh, specifically a fried lake perch sandwich. A very particular thing that I grew up with, so it's like
Wisconsin.
my Madeline, you know?
That's Wisconsin stuff.
Yeah.
Is there a TV series you'd like to guest star on?
I don't think so.
Something you're awful at?
Many things. Damn. Look, this is terrible.
Okay,
I can't come up with the goods. No, but it's interesting.
What's a luxury you can't live without?
A luxury that I can't live. I like to take a bath. I need a nice bathtub.
Every day?
Oh, yeah.
Who would you trade places with for a day?
Oh, probably a political figure, just to see really what's going on. But, you know, this Indian saint that hugs millions of people, Amma.
Ah. What other era in history would you like to experience?
I would have liked to have been born a little bit earlier.
A little bit before this?
A little bit before, so I could have been an adult during the 1960s, where I was 5 years old when the 1960s started.
Ah, I was an adult in the 1960s.
Ah, lucky you, Larry.
Longest period of time you've been awake?
Awake?
You must have had days of shooting where...
Oh, on that first movie, The Loveless, I remember we basically ran out of money and we had to just shoot until we were done. So I think we shot for like, don't tell the unions this, that was a long time ago, but I think we shot for like 2 days, you know?
Tell me something people don't know about you.
That I was a chubby kid.
Really?
Yeah. For you know, before adolescence.
Before we go to break, I want to get your take on what's going on in the country.
Oh,
Are
that's
you
tough.
concerned?
You know, yes. I don't know where to join in. I'm an actor, and I always have a problem. You know, I feel like I express things. I don't want to be a coward. I express myself best through my work. There's better people to talk about the political situation. But personally, you know, our leader should be a moral leader. And I don't think we're going in the right direction. And we're a powerful country, and we have a responsibility to the rest of the world.
Are you troubled by what you see?
Absolutely.
Now, you travel a lot. What do you hear? I know most of your industry is opposed to him.
Right, right. That's why, you know, I don't want to preach to the converted. Yeah. You know, it's very difficult to talk about because you want to, as I say, you want to express yourself, you want to not run away, not be afraid. But in the rest of the world, they think we're crazy. and also, I think the States has fallen in esteem.
In our final moments, Willem will be answering your questions from social media. Plus, what can we expect from Murder on the Orient-Express? We'll be right back on Larry King Now. We're back with Willem Dafoe. The Florida project will open October 6th. Murder on the Orient-Express, when will that come?
In November.
Does it follow the Agatha Christie novel?
Yes, yes. It's just, there's some twists,
With
but
that
the
wonderful
basic
ending.
Yes.
Still got that great
You
ending.
can't give it away. The truth is, you know what the story is,
Yeah.
but still, it's the telling of the story.
But
that's
Kenneth
important.
Branagh must be great to work with.
He's fantastic. Yeah, you know, he knows performing, he knows the camera, he knows how to make a movie.
Do you ever get close with other people in the business?
I do. You know, whenever you make a movie, you make a little family because it's so. You're with them in an intense way for a very concentrated period of time, and often I'm on location, so you're out of your comfort zone. You have different habits. So it really makes you open to getting to know people.
You like working with Johnny Depp?
Yeah, I've worked with him many times. I first worked with him in Platoon, and he was a young kid.
I didn't even know he was in it.
Oh yeah. One of my favorite scenes was with him, but it got cut.
Really?
Yeah.
Oliver Stone took it out?
Yeah.
What a movie that was.
Yeah, it was a good movie.
Okay, we have some fan questions on the internet. Lauren Egling on the Larry King Now blog. What are your fondest memories from working on the Spider-Man film?
I think very much Sam Raimi had a real playful way about him. He was a guy that was, you know, he was directing this movie like it was his childhood. I mean, it was very personal to him.
Really?
There was no cynicism. He was always sort of in delight, or at least that's the way it seemed. And his way of inviting you to play with things and make him laugh, he was like the best audience for you. So you would invent things. There was a playfulness that I really loved. And I loved the physical stuff.
Grant Gloss, what's the first thing that jumps at you when you look at a script?
Just basically I say, what does the character have to do? Do I want to do these things? And do I have to learn something to do them? Is it something close to me? Is it something far away from me?
Ever regret turning something down?
Probably, but I don't, you know, woulda, coulda, shoulda is no good.
You don't deal with regrets.
Well, you know, you move on. And also, it's hard to say because usually you regret it because you pass on something that goes on to be a big success. And if you did it, maybe it wouldn't be a success. You know, it's hypothetical.
When you watch other actors work,
yeah,
as a fellow actor, do you think I would have done it this way?
No.
Or do you watch it like I watch it?
I watch it like you watch it. I really do. Yeah, sometimes I think, you know, ooh, they're in dangerous territory. But, you know, it's just, you probably think the same thing as an audience.
Steve M. on the Larry King Now blog. Have you wrapped shooting Aquaman yet?
No, we're still shooting. I'm on a little break, but I go back like on Friday and shoot for like another month. And I think we wrap in middle of October.
You like Australia?
I do. I've shot there on a film called Daybreakers, and I shot in Tasmania on a film called The Hunter, which was a very good film.
Are the shoots intense on Aquaman?
You know, there's a lot of physical stuff and there's a lot of effects stuff. So there's a lot of prep, and the actual shooting isn't as intense as some because the pace is a little slower. But the preparation and what you have to do in the course of a day is quite heavy. And also you're wearing these costumes that aren't the most comfortable things in the world.
Aaron John on the Larry King Now blog. Is there an actor or director you're dying to work with?
Many directors. An actor that comes to mind is Isabelle Huppert, who I'm a great fan of, always have been, love her work in the theater and in film. Directors, whenever I see a good movie, I say, I want to work with this person.
Dutch Schaefer on Twitter. Was Sergeant Elias's death in Platoon choreographed or ad-libbed? And how many takes did it take to shoot that scene?
Okay. It was very, you know, it was kind of neither. I knew I started at this point. I knew I had to get there. I knew where the explosions were. I knew where we wanted to have I was detonating the hits on my body. But basically...
You were detonating them yourself.
Yeah. But the hits around me, I had to avoid them. But I also wanted to get close to them enough that, you know, it would all be in the picture. But because it was a huge shot, one of the shots was a huge helicopter shot. There were many cameras on this. It was beautiful. I'm sitting there, and I've got a walkie-talkie. I'm all set to go. I'm a self-contained unit. All I know is I have to run straight, and I know at a certain point I've got to stop. That's it. And I've got all these extras chasing me. But everything's up in the air or on the ground, so I'm by myself. So basically, my action is to run for my life. So that was it. And it was, you know, it was a strong enough action that, you know, you didn't have to pretend.
Was there a lot of reshoots?
No, it was maybe 3 or 4 takes. And the take that they used, actually, some of the detonations didn't go off. And if you look closely in the movie, you can see me throw the thing in my hand where I'm detonating my body hits. I probably shouldn't spoil it, but...
Was Oliver Stone easy to work for?
He was great. He was great. I worked with him also in Born on the 4th of July. It was very early in his career, but that was a dream project. I mean, and I loved all the guys that I was working with. And, you know, for people that still had kind of a fantasy of World War II movies as cinema, but also, you know, were living in the shadow of Vietnam, it really played on your imagination. So, and we were working with real veterans who had a stake with the story being accurate, or at least the tone being real. So it was a very involving and great experience.
Platoon was shot where?
Philippines.
Tough shoot?
Yes, but, you know, fun. You know, tough is fun when it's engaged.
What was Tom Cruise like to work with?
He was good. He was good.
He works hard, doesn't he?
He does. You know, I had a brief scene with him.
And finally, Lou Scotta, have you ever watched a movie you weren't in and wish you were in it?
Sure. Plenty of times.
This is great meeting you.
Great. Thank you.
Wonderful having you with us.
Great.
A big thanks to my guest, Willem Dafoe. Be sure to see his new Netflix films, Death Note and What Happened to Monday, out now. Willem will star in The Florida Project, coming to theaters October 6th, as well as one of the stars on Murder on the Orient-Express, coming this November. And as always, you can find me on Twitter at King's Things. I'll see you next time.